Hi, Dr Brie here and welcome back. Today's video is all geared around one thing, completing this master clue, and as you can see from the steps, I still require the full Blue Moon outfit, of which I currently have none. So if we look at the collection log, I currently have 2 items at a KC of 17. So let's smash out some Moons of Peril and hope we get lucky. Now, defeating any of the Moons of Peril bosses gives you a 1 in 56 chance of getting an item, meaning if you kill all 3, the odds of getting any unique works out as 1 in 19. In addition to this, you won't receive any duplicate items of any set until you have completed that set first. And this will be KC 25, which means a new combat achievement, the Perilous Moons. A nice easy one to get out of the way. Now, excluding the unique drops, the normal items received from the lunar chests can be particularly useful for mid-level ironmen. They drop a load of resources including super compost, maple and yew seeds for farming, water orbs for crafting, irritant harlanders for herb lore, as well as bone shards and sunkissed bones for rare experience. Now you have to excuse the screen change. I found myself with some time at work and did manage to get a few KC completed on mobile. And speaking of KC, this should be kill count number 60, meaning we should have received roughly 3 uniques by now, if on drop rate. Sadly none so far, so let's hope our luck turns round. And just as we say that, 6 kills later at KC 66 we receive our first new unique coming in as the Blood Moon Helm, worth a very respectable 815k, and of course a new collection log item. So besides getting the items needed to complete the master clue step, I wanted to complete all the combat achievements while I was here, and one of those was to kill all 3 bosses with a D-skimmy. And there we go, combat achievement completed. And luckily for us, the next unique coming in at KC 75 was the Dual McQuarrel. And yes, I promise I did look this word up before saying it, and the reason for this being so lucky is that getting this item so early on the grind is a massive help, as this is a new best in slot weapon for myself when killing the Blue Moon, and only bested by the Scythe of Virtue. Now if we take a quick look at the collection log, you can see we now have 4 out of 13 collection log slots filled. However, we still have no Blue Moon gear needed for the clue scroll just yet. And if we compare the stats of the new dual weapon to the Dragon Haster, which I'm currently using, you can see a plus 23 attack bonus to crush, which happens to be what the Blue Moon is weak against. Now the other added bonus of the McQuarrel is its ability to hit twice per attack, and while the second hit is less accurate and does do less damage, it still makes for a decent high hitting weapon, as you can see here. Now back to the loot, and would you believe it, our first Blue Moon item coming in as the Blue Moon chest plate, and a very nice 3.6 million GP. Only 3 more to go to complete the set. And while not a new unique, it's always nice to see a double UC drop. Sadly not worth what it once was, but still nice. And finally, another unique at last, more than 60 KC from the previous drop, but what a drop it was, the Blood Moon chest plate coming in at just over 4 million GP. Always nice to see that for a drop. And sadly no back to back, but a rather interesting loot from the chest this time, something I haven't seen before. 59 grimy Harlanders, very nice. So a few people in my clan were asking did I have any tips or anything to help with the kills, so I thought I'd share a couple of things with you now. The first is that during the battle with the Eclipse Moon, he uses what is known as a clone attack. Now during this phase, as long as you face your character towards each clone, you're guaranteed to attack. So using a slower, more powerful weapon such as a dragon or crystal halley will really help speed up the kills here, particularly if you use the Crystal Halley's special, which does double damage. Now the second tip is during what's known as his Searing Rays phase, which involves hiding behind a shield to prevent taking damage. Now, if you mark the 4 tiles shown here, stand on these tiles with Run active and click on the following marked tile just as the sphere shield moves across the first eclipse picture on the floor. You will miss all his attacks every time, and all by simply doing 1 click. And this method can also work at the start of the phase, Wait for the shield to move onto the first eclipsed moon picture on the floor, then click on the next marked tile. It's that simple. And now back to the loot. At KC154 we have another new unique, the Eclipse Bow, and another new collection log, and another 3 million atom. And just a few kills later we have another double UC drop, always very nice to see. Now it's surprising, between the U's, maples and other secondaries, just how much they all mount up over time, as you'll see by the end of the video. The only real shame to this grind is that I would like Jags to update it at some point, so you can now drop clues from the lunar chest. Perhaps a similar rate to Barrows, dropping elite clues at a rate of 1 in 19, just to mix things up more in the way of drops. And speaking of drops, we've received another unique at KC190, the Blood Moon Tassets, the most expensive of all the moon pieces, coming in at 13.1 million GP. Now if we take a look at the collection log, I do believe that's the whole Blood Moon set completed. 1 down, 2 to go. And this will make KC 200. Sadly for us, no new unique this time round. And if you're curious to find out what the worst possible loot from here is, well, there we go, now you're looking at it. And 36 kills later, so more than double what the drop rate should be, we finally get a new unique coming in as the Moon Spear. Not only the second of 4 items need to complete the master clue, but another 792k to add to the rank. And it looks like the RNG gods are starting to smile down on us, because only a few kills later we have another unique, this time the Eclipse Moon Helm, worth 838k. And I kid you not, would you look at that, only 14 kills afterwards, yet another drop, the third of 4 items needed to complete the master clue, the Blue Moon Helm. Now if we look at the collection log, we now have 11 out of 15 items needed to complete the collection log. Now again, if we look at the wiki, the drop rate is 1 in 19 for any unique. So with a KC of 256, we should have about 15 items. So we're a little dry, however there's much worse things to go dry on than this. And no sooner had we said the words dry than we get another unique, a back-to-back from the last one, this time being the Blue Moon Tassets, the most 4th expensive item at a current price of 5.5 million GP. Now if we look at the collection log, this is where we have a choice. We now have the full Blue Moon set and can do that master clue step. So we could call it a day right here and finish it. Or, and of course you knew we had to go for that final item, and honestly I am so happy that we did. Only 12 kills later and we got the final item needed, and it happened to be a double drop, another Blue Moon Helm and a new Eclipse Moon Tassets. And now if we look at the collection log one last time, look at that, 13 out of 13. The entire thing green-logged. You gotta love seeing that. And now the reason this whole video started, if we read the clue, it says equipped a full set of Blue Moon. So let's get to it. And there we go, after weeks of holding on to this clue, that's another step completed. Fingers crossed we get through the whole clue, because not being able to do another step would really suck right now. And there we go, at last, master clue completed. And I'm sure you all know that after this, it'll be a massive tease not to show you the opening. However, before we do so, if you made it this far into the video, please leave a like and subscribe. It helps the channel so much. And please, if you can, leave a comment. I love engaging and hearing from people. And now for my last master clue, we get a brand new item for the collection log. Have you ever seen anything so beautiful? The Anguish Ornament Kit, worth 5.6 million GP. So now the only thing left to do is to add everything up and see how much we made. So excluding the non-tradable items, between all the resource items, clue scrolls, 14 Moons of Peril uniques, we have a grand total of nearly 62 million GP. Just look at all that loot. Like always, thank you so much for watching. I really did enjoy making this video, and I hope to see you again next time as we open 1000 easy clues in the hope of getting some more items for the collection lot.